It must be Saturday again, and that means it's time to take you on a journey through the history and creation of some of the best movies, games, music, and etc. of all time. I'm your host, Cody Goggin, and today we're looking at a movie that made Mel Gibson a movie star. We're looking at Mad Max. Directed by George Miller in 1979, Mad Max is a dystopian action thriller starring Mel Gibson and Hugh Keays-Byrne. Inspired by a 1973 oil crisis and the lengths that people would go to in order to stay mobile, Miller set the movie in a not-so-distant future where things had gone terribly wrong. Biker gangs and crime run rampant in the world of Mad Max, and some of these biker gangs were played by real Australian gang members who rode their own motorcycles for the movie. Some stuntmen were injured during the making of Mad Max. They shot the film often without the use of filming permits and had to get their shots in a hurry before being caught speeding along the Australian roadways. The main pursuit vehicle of Max Rokitansky would be a 1974 Ford Falcon with a 351 V8 engine. When Mad Max was released, it did not immediately become the hit that it is today. It was its own sequel which became a more well-known movie, The Road Warrior. But the story of Max and his quality as a desert myth of revenge and salvation started here on a small but confident movie. It went on to be followed by several other films, a video game, and inspired other similar movies over the years as well. Check out Mad Max if you've never seen the original. Up next is our special feature for the week, and we're looking at a video game that was kind of inspired by Mad Max. We're looking at Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is a vehicular combat game designed by David Jaffe and others for Sony Interactive Studios and released in 1995. In Twisted Metal, players can choose the car and character of their liking and take part in a tiered tournament where the objective is to destroy the other cars using weapons and speed. Jaffe and the team had been inspired to make the game after spending a long day in a traffic jam and wishing they could blast their way out of the highway. Other possible titles for the game were Urban Assault and High Octane. Twisted Metal is most well known for its mascot and character, Sweet Tooth. The crazy, evil clown character and driver of an ice cream truck has been featured heavily in advertising for both Twisted Metal and the Sony PlayStation. Originally intended to have live-action filmed segments to tell the game's story, these were not released on the final version of Twisted Metal, but they would eventually see the light of day later and have been released to the public as bonus features on other games. Twisted Metal became one of the best-selling and most well-received video games of 1995. It would be followed by a series of sequel video games, and there are rumors that a live-action television series based on the game will be developed in the near future. Though the handling and graphics are rough by today's standards, this game holds a special place for me and is definitely worth playing. Up next, we have our album of the week, and it's a very special one, a newer one. It's Power Up by AC/DC. Power Up is the 17th studio album by AC/DC, and it was released in 2020 after the band had been through one of the roughest periods since losing original lead singer Bon Scott. After their last album in 2014, Rock or Bust, AC/DC had began an enormous world tour that was unfortunately altered by many changing factors. Drummer Phil Rudd was accused of attempting to have someone assassinated. Lead singer Brian Johnson would be diagnosed with hearing loss. And rhythm guitar player Malcolm Young would succumb to dementia and sadly passed away. All of this led bassist Cliff Williams to retire from the band for a short time, and found guitar-playing Angus Young touring with a ragtag version of AC/DC, featuring Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose singing the songs. Though this tour was actually well received, Angus and the boys wanted to get the real band back together. After Malcolm's passing, this became all the more important. Angus Young found himself looking at old tapes and old songs that he had written with his brother. Thanks to advances in hearing technology, Brian Johnson was allowed to return to the band, and soon the other former members were back as well. Recording of Power Up took place in 2018 and would be done as a tribute to their fallen comrade, Malcolm Young. Angus and Brian would both say later that they could feel the presence of Malcolm in every decision and every recording. With the COVID pandemic, the release of the album was delayed slightly, but when it hit the public, it came barreling out of the gate with record sales and award nominations. Power Up has been called one of the greatest rock albums of recent decades, and certainly one of the best AC/DC records. It's been nominated for Rock Album of the Year and reminded people of why AC/DC are who they are, and why their name is so important to the foundations and pillars of rock and roll music. Songs like Shot in the Dark, Through the Mists of Time, and Kick You When You're Down are some of the best AC/DC songs ever, and the album is full of them. Check out Power Up if you've never heard it. It's a great tribute to their fallen brother Malcolm Young, and a great example of everything that AC/DC has ever stood for. Up next is an original song. Thank you for watching.
This is something I've never seen before. A woman come in and she slammed the bedroom door. Said she used to love me, she used to care. Here come lately, it don't feel fair. Don't feel fair. I looked at her and said, what do you mean? Well, she opened her eyes and stared a hole right through me. Said I'd been out every single night. You come lately, it don't seem right. Don't seem right. It's a fool's errand to run around. It's a fool's errand to hit the town. It's a fool's errand to run around. And oh my God, she's found me out. She's found me out. I begged and I pleaded and I begged her not to go. But she took my car and stole all my money for blow. I made a mistake and my woman didn't stay. But I've got another, so that's okay. That's okay. It's a fool's errand to run around. It's a fool's errand to hit the town. It's a fool's errand to